If you're like me, then you are being inundated with information. Stats, pictures, models, projections, plans, and if we're not careful, we'll get so in the details of the information that we can sort of treat it all as white noise, or treat everything with equal importance. Or perhaps, if you're like me, you're looking forward to the day to where we can just get past it. Let's just get through this, and I'm seeing some light at the end of the tunnel, and I look forward to the moment in which this is all behind me. Came across the quote by Malcolm Muggeridge that really resonated as an encouragement and a challenge. Any happening, great or small, is a parable whereby God speaks to us. And the art of life is to get the message. Read that again. Any happening, great or small, is a parable whereby God speaks to us. And the art of life is to get the message. I'm worried that in the flood of content, or the anticipation and dreaming of a preferred future, that I'll miss the message of now. I wonder how many of you would say you're missing God's message in this parable that is both great and small in different ways of our pandemic moment. It's even harder when we're constantly presented with different authorities. Government authorities, economic authorities, spiritual authorities giving us insight, encouragement, and challenge. Medical authorities. And then at the same time, there's all of the social media authorities and our family authorities and our friend authorities that are chiming in with what they think. I think it's interesting that as a spiritual leader and a person who's consuming the same press conferences and plans that you're consuming on television or through the media, I don't think that I've said I don't know or heard I don't know any more than I have in the recent months when it comes to pastoral and church leadership and hearing from my pastoral friends that I respect. Where it's hard to know what to do and when to do it and how to do it. I'm hearing the same thing from other authorities, while at the same time, those who don't have authority are as dogmatic and as sure and confident as what needs to be done and how it needs to be done as ever. I say all that to say that this is a day of messages, and I want to make sure that we are walking in the art as God's people, at the art of getting God's message. So if you have a copy of the Scriptures handy, and if turn to Luke 9. If you don't, that's fine. I'll read it for you. But in these ponderings, I thought of Luke chapter 9, verse 28, in which we read, "Now about 8 days after these sayings, he," meaning Jesus, "took him, Peter and John and James, and went up on the mountain to pray." Remember, Bible observation, we want to ask, what sayings? Well, the saying of verse 21 precedes it, where he said that the Son of Man, meaning him, must suffer many things and be killed and on the third day be raised. After he said that message. Or, "If anyone would come after me," verse 23, "let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me." So after that message, and a message of the coming kingdom of verse 26, "For whoever is ashamed of me and my words, of him will the Son of Man be ashamed when he comes in his glory and the glory of the Father and of the holy angels." After those sayings, after those messages of the gospel, of sanctification in between Jesus' death and resurrection and his coming again, what are we to be, and how are we to live, and how are we to feel? And in verse 29, as he was praying, the appearance of his face was altered, and his clothing became dazzling white. And behold, 2 men were talking with him, Moses and Elijah, who appeared in glory and spoke of his departure, which he was about to accomplish at Jerusalem. And so you've got Moses, who is the symbol of the law. You've got Elijah, who is the icon of the prophets, all pointing to the coming Christ and how he would suffer for the sins of his people, and how Jesus is the Christ, and how not many days from this moment of sensational, miraculous glorification and appearance, they're discussing his gospel and the implications, which Jesus had just told the disciples about. Now tell me if Peter got the message. Now Peter and those who were with him were heavy with sleep, but when they came fully awake, they saw his glory and the two men who stood with him. And as the men were parting from him, Peter didn't receive Jesus' message or Moses and Elijah talking to Jesus about the gospel. Instead, he had a message. He said, "Master, it's good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you and one for Moses and one for Elijah," not knowing what he said, rather than say, I don't know what to make of this. Instead, he had a message for Jesus. And as he was saying these things, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were afraid as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, "This is my Son, my chosen one. Listen to him." And when the voice had spoken, Jesus was found alone, and they kept silent and told no one in those days anything of what they had seen. They finally got the message that the voice that is authoritative, that is telling a parable whereby God is speaking a message to us in things both great and small, they were ready to receive it. So let me leave you with a few questions that I've asked myself this morning, and I'll leave with you. Are you spending more time listening to him than other people? Nothing wrong with the authorities that are in our life speaking a message to us, or the friends and family in our life encouraging us, or even getting on social media and interacting. But are we spending more time listening to Jesus, the Son of God, as we are anyone else? Second, are we connecting what we're hearing from Jesus, to the good news of his death and resurrection, so that it is well with our soul? And at the same time, our sanctification, that between the already and the not yet, the here, now, and the there later, are we embracing this moment, this parable, as a means by which we are taking up our cross, denying ourselves, and following him? And third, this one's a little more subjective. Are you keeping that for you? Or do you feel the need to trumpet what you're learning and what you're thinking and what you're feeling, even if it is from God and there's maturity and growth in it? Good. Resist the urge to want to tell other people about that. Nothing wrong with it. Maybe as a small group of people that you would share that with. But I'm learning and hoping that in my heart to keep some things to myself. I'm a pastor, and I need to share some of those things with you to encourage you. But there are some things that are none of your business, and that God is shaping in my heart and in my mind and in my calling that are especially for me. Perhaps I'll never share, or if I do, will be later. That God has a special message for each one of us that he's teaching us in this moment. And it's just for you. Have a great week.